Welcome to our trip and welcome to our Goldwing.
A duo's odyssey into the abyss of an American wasteland.
Charlie's not here right now. Please leave a message.
Charlie. Sit tall. This is their journey.
This thing is awesome. I remember the first time he talked about getting one, I was super turned off by it. I was kind of like, this is a grandpa bike. This thing is ridiculous. Why would we get one of these? But honestly, the features of this bike are just incomparable. And it's super comfortable. Some armrests. I sit nice and 90 degree with my leg. I like it a lot as a passenger.
This bike was made in 1996. As the primary rider of this motorcycle, I was blown away by the reliability and the smoothness of the bike. Also, it's powerful. It has a lot of pull. It has 100 horsepower, so that's substantial for a motorcycle. And as you can see, it's a huge motorcycle, so it does need that kind of horsepower.
With both of us combined, I mean, and the weight of this bike and how
And
much
also,
stuff we have loaded, it's about half a ton.
We have our tent with us. We'll have our sleeping bags, sleeping mats.
Right now it's not fully loaded, but I'm sure you'll see in the future, some of our videos will show it fully packed. And we have a 50-liter motorcycle bag that sits on the back here, and that holds a lot of our stuff, but these panniers hold a lot more than you would think, so that's super, super handy. I have a lot of snack compartments, these tiny little pockets that I can hide small things in and I can access while we ride, which is really cool, especially because we're trying to do 6,000 miles. And 6,000 miles is quite a lot in the span of 1.5 months. Definitely a lot of riding, a lot of ground to cover.
Let's talk about how this trip came about. We're living in China, as some of you might know, especially my family and my friends. Charlie wasn't able to come back to the States because of the pandemic for under 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years.
Because she was working in China. If she comes back to the States, she would have to quarantine herself in China. It's just a huge hassle. So she was holding that off until this summer.
I could see my family, do some things, and then also we wanted to have some fun. We haven't been to the States together, obviously. We met in China, and we originally were kind of thinking of snowboard season since he snowboards. That was the original plan, but money-wise and just timing-wise, it made more sense for us to use this last little nice season in America before it gets too cold and a lot of the national parks kind of shut down to do a motorcycle trip. We already have like a lightweight backpacking gear and stuff to camp, so that part was easy. Also our clothing. We did pack up along the trip, grab a couple extra things here and there, but honestly we had a lot of the stuff already. We quickly kind of realized, like, just with me not being able to see my family in so long and the pandemic, it just made more sense for us to plan it here and kind of bag the snowboarding idea and pick up this one instead, since we already had a lot of the gear for it. So we brought back our helmets.
I also have snowboard gear because I worked in the snowboarding industry. But anyways, that would cost way too much money.
And we'd have to stay longer. We'd have to stay through the snow season, which more time in the States equals more money.
We thought the US was going to be expensive. When I actually came and started experiencing how expensive it is,
it really hit. Because we're actually really fortunate. Like, when we came back, we got to stay with a lot of my family friends and family. And even on the motorcycle trip, we get to stop in and see friends and family of mine the whole time. So.
And also we got a lot of free stuff from people.
Oh my gosh.
Just from like the kindest people. This morning we went to a gas station.
And this clerk asked, because he had his helmet on, and I was grabbing some snacks for us. And she basically just asked, she's like, where are you guys from? Where are you headed? And I told her, you know, we started in Vegas and we're heading to all over the place. Kind of like the furthest east we're going to go is Missouri and so forth. And she was kind of like, wow, like my husband and I are trying to do a trip soon, and was telling us all about it. So I gave her like some hints on like some apps that friends have given me. Couple of those I can link maybe in the description, because because they've helped us a lot so far. I was talking to her about it and she was like, no, it was like, you can have those things. It was just like a tea and a donut that I needed in the morning, but it was super sweet. Like, not just that, like, people at campsites have given us beers and gasoline to start a fire and like change.
And helping me with the motorcycle too. We were just really blown away by how kind the people we have met on the trip are.
It's reassuring, especially when we started this trip not really knowing what to expect.
Also, we are doing this POV style of videos, and our main focus is to bring all these views and our experiences along the road, but it's these people and like the moments of kindness that really
and it's hard to capture that. Like,
it's really
there's so
hard,
many times like I wish we got more footage of like the friends and family of mine even, or the random strangers that give us things or do things, but those are kind of the moments that you just can't always capture. But we'd love to like talk about them more throughout the series, just highlight how things have worked out, because even though we just started this trip, we just want to give you an understanding of why we kind of did this, because we've already had so many people ask, whoa, what are you guys doing on a motorcycle? Like, how far are you going? And we can kind of leave a picture of the actual map of where we plan on going. And already things have changed a little bit. Like, we were supposed to go through San Francisco from Santa Cruz. We ended up staying in like Santa Cruz after San Luis Obispo. From there it started raining, so we didn't want to go through San Francisco, but I had a friend, an old professor of mine, super cool artist.
Former professor.
No, she's not
professor.
Old. She's like old super young and hot. But she's really cool. We saw her family and visited them in Reno.
We took her daughter
on her first
motorcycle ride.
Yeah. It's just been so cool to see these people and also make these changes, like from Santa Cruz to Reno and then back to Mendocino area.
And always get caught in the rain.
Yeah. Anyway, we've hit a lot of rain, and the rain has been a little miserable in some ways. We'll talk about it in individual episodes for sure. But one thing that I want to talk about too, that I feel so cool on this bike having, especially as a Hellion, like normally I would never ride backseat for anybody, but he's my boyfriend. He's really a good driver, so I trust him and I feel really comfortable back here. But it's super cool having a camelback attached to our little bar back here. We can kind of clip it onto the bag that's attached to the bar, and then I have like a little like loop to put it through so it doesn't fly everywhere. But my little water line, like, I can just drink out of the bladder, which is super, super nice when we're riding.
Let's talk about how we got the bike. So basically, when I was in China, I was doing a lot of research on vehicles in general, not just motorcycles, but also cars. Basically, I was looking for something that's the cheapest way to do a very long distance trip in the US.
He watched a lot of videos, finally came up on the Honda Goldwing, and like I said, I thought it was a grandpa bike. I was like, oh my gosh, no. Until I sat on it. It's amazing. Just seeing it. I mean, this color too, and the guy that we bought it off of, Jerry, he's just awesome.
Hey, that's the man, Jerry. We got a bike from him. So you guys want a big ride? That Goldwing will travel.
Total legend. He helps us even on the road when we're having trouble. We can call him up and he'll give us tips or tell us, kind of remind us of the maintenance that we need to do. Also get on us about posting videos. Super helpful
And making us productive YouTubers.
It worked out really well. We really lucked out with the guy that we bought it off of, and we went on rides with him and his friends around Vegas. And we just wanted to really fill you in on why we're doing this trip as a prelim to this vlog series, because we've already had a lot of people ask, especially the people we're meeting and seeing along this trip. I think it's important that you understand a little bit about our background too, and how we work together and why we kind of want to do this. Some people think we're a little crazy, but it's been really fun so far.
I've never traveled for weeks on a motorcycle before, and this is my first time doing that.
Me too.
And I think this will totally be my thing. I would love to travel on a motorcycle in the future.
Really, like, we don't have much. We have this one motorcycle, the two of us, and minimal amounts of clothing and camping things. and we're having the time of our lives. It's not always easy. Camping can be draining, especially when you're sitting on a bike all day.
Especially for girls, they care a lot about hygiene in general. For a guy like me, man, you know, I
can go weeks. I can go
not
maybe
weeks.
3.
I don't do that for weeks. For me, 3
you
days
had to.
without a shower is okay. I don't care about it that much. But for girls, that's like death sentence. If you stayed this long, you're really interested in our trip. Thank you for that. We're right now in Missoula, Montana. So it's like 1/3 of the trip done, and we haven't even produced the first vlog yet, but don't worry, it's gonna come and it's gonna be good. I'm gonna firstly thank 2 Jerrys. The first Jerry is the Jerry that we got this bike from. He's great, he helped us out a lot. Without this bike, we don't have this Honda Goldwing kind of trip. The second Jerry is Charlie's longtime friend. Now he's my friend too. He composed the theme music. It's gonna be in all videos as the intro.
Besides the Jerrys of the world, we have plenty of other people to thank. We have my family, my friends. We've stayed with a lot of friends and family along the way so far, and hopefully more along the rest of this trip. And without them, it would be very difficult to make this happen.
Thank you so much for being so welcoming and inviting.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
We will do our best to make it entertaining. This is our first travel series. We hope you enjoy it. We'll see you on the road.